the cultural power of progressives have been weakened. I think this has created a frustration. One could argue that perhaps the reason why we had more conservative killers than progressive killers until lately was conservatives did not have cultural power. So their way of lashing out was violence. If the data is accurate, and we have had more conservative killers until this past year, now more progressive killers, this fits, doesn't it? As progressives have lost cultural power. And for progressives, it might be worse because they had cultural power. They had that power in their hand, and now it's been snatched away. As they've lost cultural power, then they become more frustrated. And when you have goals and you can't achieve those goals, you're frustrated, and frustrated people lash out. This may account for the rise of the white progressive killer. The loss of the ability of progressives to control the cultural narrative has created frustration. And out of that frustration, there's a lashing out. In the past, when they were frustrated, they could rely on a media that was sympathetic to them. But the media is not sympathetic to them any longer. So they lash out in other ways. If this is true, and I'm not a criminologist, and maybe some criminologist has looked at this, but there may be something to the idea that frustration creates violence. That when a group of people is frustrated, they're more likely to engage in violence. And of course, that does not excuse the violence, but helps to explain the violence. And if we can explain the violence, then we can find perhaps some ways of lessening that violence.